Baba Sahib Ambedkar, one of the greatest revolutionaries India has ever seen. He stands as a beacon of resistance against this deeply entrenched system. His life and legacy offers lessons that go far beyond the boundaries of time. Yet, his story is often presented in fragments, stripped of the raw passion, anger, and the revolutionary spirit that defined his struggle. Today, let's delve into what Baba Sahib stood for and why his fight against caste oppression is still relevant in 2024. Baba Sahib Ambedkar was not merely a politician or the chairman of the drafting committee of the Indian Constitution. He was a thinker, he was a reformer, and he was a voice for the voiceless. When the privileged caste leaders of his time tried to present him as just as bureaucratic figure who helped drafting the Constitution, they conveniently overlooked the revolutionary fire within Baba Sahib. Baba Sahib Ambedkar's words, there cannot be a more degrading system of social organization than the caste system. They weren't just rhetoric, they were a reflection of centuries of humiliation, exploitation, and systematic oppression faced by Dalits. Imagine living in a society where your touch, your shadow, your very existence was considered impure, where your choices were dictated by birth and your aspirations stifled by scriptures that sanctioned your subjugation. This wasn't just a social practice, it was a moral and a psychological prison designed to perpetuate inequality. While Baba Sahib Ambedkar burned with the desire to annihilate the oppressive caste system, Mahatma Gandhi believed in preserving it in some or other form. He was celebrated as the father of the nation. Before that, Gandhi was in South Africa for 2 decades advocating for the rights of Indian traders, not the poor or oppressed, but he is working for Indian traders. His initial activism was not about racial equality, but about ensuring privileged Indians were not equated with Africans, whom he derogatorily referred as savages. Mahatma Gandhi, for all his contributions to India's freedom struggle, he held views that are troubling when seen through the lens of caste. Gandhi called the caste system the genius of Indian society and argued that hereditary occupations, where one's birth determined their work, they were essential for social order. Can you imagine? Can you imagine a society where your dreams are irrelevant because your destiny is already decided by your caste? Gandhi campaigned against untouchability, but he never questioned the foundation of caste or its link to access to resources like education, land, and water. Baba Sahib Ambedkar, on the other hand, he didn't just question caste, he tore it apart. He called this system a chamber of horrors for Dalits and urged them to renounce it for any religion that embraced equality. This wasn't just about theology, it was a declaration of human dignity. He rejected the idea that any divine will could justify discrimination. But let's not romanticize the struggle. The caste system is not a relic of the past. It has adapted, it is modernized and entrenched itself in ways that are harder to detect. Globalization and free market democracy, which many thought would break caste barriers, they have instead deepened this caste system. Who owns the land in India? Overwhelmingly, it is the privileged caste. Who dominates the billionaires list? Traders from Gandhi's caste. Meanwhile, Dalits remain largely landless and marginalized, with their women bearing the brunt of unspeakable violence. Even today, caste is not just about social customs, it is about power, it is about resources, and it is about privilege. It's about who gets to study, who gets to eat, who gets to live with dignity. It's a system that has found ways to evade scrutiny because it isn't as visible as racism or apathy. It is not color coded, and it's hierarchical or embedded in everyday practices, rituals, and even in laws. Baba Saheb Ambedkar's legacy is a call to action not just for Dalits, but for all of us. He didn't fight for revenge, he fought for justice. He didn't seek to reverse roles, he sought to dismantle roles altogether. He envisioned a society where merit, not birth, determined one's destiny. But this vision requires courage. Courage to question traditions, courage to reject privileges, and to stand with the oppressed. When we talk about caste today, let's not sanitize it. Let's not reduce it to mere historical trivia. It's a living, breathing system that continues to shape lives, often in brutal ways. And as long as it exists, Baba Saheb Ambedkar's fight remains unfinished. It's important to dive into history, not just to understand what happened, but to question the narratives we have inherited. This story of caste, colonialism, and leadership, they reveal how deeply complex and at times contradictory figures and movements can be. In 1935, Baba Saheb Ambedkar made a bold declaration. He tells 44 million Dalits to renounce their religion, which had oppressed them for centuries. Why? Because he believed that a religion that treated you as less than human had no right to your loyalty. This was not just a religious decision, it was a revolutionary act, and it sent shockwaves through nation, especially among the upper caste, who suddenly realized this system might collapse like a house of cards. Then entered Mahatma Gandhi. While Mahatma Gandhi stripped down to a loincloth to perform poverty, Baba Saheb donned a suit as an assertion of dignity. Ambedkar's radical act was not just about clothing, it was about identity, it was about resistance, and it was about empowerment. He didn't merely fight untouchability, he fought the very caste system that underpinned it. Mahatma Gandhi, on the other hand, he opposed untouchability but upheld caste hierarchy. This difference came to a head during the famous Gandhi-Ambedkar debate. Ambedkar's annihilation of caste remains one of the most scathing critics of the caste systems, laying bare its roots and its horrors. Mahatma Gandhi's response, he called caste a beautiful tree that needed pruning, not uprooting. To Gandhi, caste had a spiritual and social purpose. To Ambedkar, it was a chain around India's neck, dragging it backward. This juxtaposition between perception and reality is stark. How could someone who fought so vehemently for one group's dignity fail to see the humanity in another? Why does all this matter? Because history is not just about the past. History shapes the stories we tell ourselves today. Baba Saheb showed us that liberation requires breaking chains, not just losing them. Gandhi showed us the power of symbolism, but also the danger of clinging to flawed tradition. The real heroes are not those who fit neatly into our textbooks. They are the ones who challenge us to think deeper, question harder, and strive for a world where dignity is not a privilege but a right. And as we revisit these narratives, let's remember the fight against oppression is not over. Whether it is caste, it is race, or it is class, the battle continues. The story of India's struggle for independence often paints Mahatma Gandhi as a unifying figure, a hero who stood for the downtrodden and the marginalized. But when we delve deeper into the history of Dr. Baba Saheb Ambedkar and his relentless fight for the rights of the so-called untouchables, we uncover a reality that's far more complex and frankly uncomfortable. This is a tale of two visions for India, clashing ideals and the silent yet deafening struggles of these left on the fringes of society. A country on the brink of liberation from colonial rule, but within it, a community so oppressed that they were not even allowed to drink water from public tanks. This was the world Ambedkar was born into. He was not just a leader for the marginalized. He was a force of nature. Educated, erudite, and unyielding, Ambedkar didn't merely dream of an equal India. He set out to build that equal India. And he understood the true change required dismantling not just the political structures, but also the deeply ingrained social hierarchies upheld by caste. Baba Saheb Ambedkar's fight was not just against the British, it was against the age-old caste system that reduced human lives to mere roles in an oppressive hierarchy. Baba Saheb envisioned a political structure where the marginalized could represent themselves free from the control of the privileged caste. His idea of separate electorates for the Dalits was a revolutionary, a way to ensure that the oppressor had a voice in shaping their destiny. But this bold vision brought him into direct conflict with Mahatma Gandhi. While Gandhi spoke of untouchability as a blight on Hindu society, his actions often contradicted his words. For example, in 1927, when Baba Saheb Ambedkar led the Mahad Satyagraha to assert Dalit rights to drink water from a public tank, Mahatma Gandhi not only failed to support the cause but also criticized this one. He suggested that Dalits should achieve their rights through sweet persuasion, as if centuries of oppression could be undone with a polite request. To Ambedkar, this was not just naive, it was insulting. The tension reached its peak during the Round Table Conference in London. Baba Saheb Ambedkar argued passionately for the political representation of Dalits, proposing a system of separate electorates. The British government agreed, recognizing the need for such measures. But Mahatma Gandhi, representing the Congress and the privileged caste, vehemently opposed these. He claimed to represent all of India, including Dalits, a claim Ambedkar found absurd. Mahatma Gandhi even went on a hunger strike not against untouchability itself, but against the idea of separate electorates for Dalits. This act of political theatre forced Baba Saheb into a corner, fearing widespread violence against Dalits if Gandhi died. Baba Saheb was pressured into signing the Pune Pact, a compromise that reserved seats for Dalits but kept their political fate under the control of the dominant caste. This was not just a defeat for Baba Saheb Ambedkar, it was a blow. It was a blow to the very idea of self-representation for the oppressed caste. The Pune Pact essentially ensured that only those Dalit leaders who were acceptable to the upper caste could rise to power. It was a systematic way of maintaining control, wrapped in the guise of compromise. Even after independence, the struggles continued. Gandhi's approach to caste was often to romanticize the status quo rather than the challenge it. He spoke of the ideal Bangi, plantation workers, as if glorifying menial labor could erase the indignity and oppression tied to it. This mindset perpetuated the idea that certain communities should accept their place, accept their fate in this society rather than aspire to equality. Baba Saheb Ambedkar saw through the decade. He knew that true liberation couldn't come from reforming caste. It required annihilating it. For him, caste was not just a social ill, it was a tool of oppression maintained through violence, fear, and systematic injustice. He challenged not just the structure, but the very ideology that upheld it. Baba Saheb Ambedkar's fight was not just for the Dalit, it was for the soul of India. He dreamed of an India where one's birth wouldn't dictate one's destiny, where every individual could live with dignity and self-respect. Mahatma Gandhi, seeing the British leaving, began to step back from the affairs of the state. He believed that the state represented violence and he wanted the rule of the people. But Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, he looked deeper and saw something else, a looming danger of power concentrating in the hands of the privileged caste. Baba Saheb Ambedkar, a man of extraordinary vision and intellect, he recognized that India's social fabric was torn apart by caste. He knew that freedom from the British meant little if millions of Indians remained shackled by the caste-based oppression. With his deep understanding of law and society, he became instrumental in shaping our Indian Constitution, a document designed to protect the rights of every individual. Yet he himself was unhappy with the final outcome, believing it was not bold enough to annihilate caste. Baba Saheb Ambedkar fought tirelessly to reform the Hindu code to give women their rightful place in our society. He wanted women to have the power to divorce and inherit property. Radical ideas, these were the radical ideas at that time. But his efforts were met with the fierce opposition from conservative forces, and he resigned in disgust. Even today, statues of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar holding the constitutions are revered. But how often do we embrace the revolutionary ideas he stood for? Baba Sahib saw caste not just as a division of labor, but as a division of laborers. He understood that this system was deeply intertwined with the economic and social inequality. While Mahatma Gandhi romanticized India's past, Baba Sahib Ambedkar rejected it, embracing racialism and liberalism instead. Toward the end of his life, he turned to Buddhism, crafting a path that combined spiritual liberation with social equality. Yet, he died in death. So, where does this leave us? The caste system still lingers in the shadows of our democracy. It shapes marriages, it shapes professions, and even the dreams of millions. Despite claims of progress, caste-based violence and discrimination persist. Those who call themselves revolutionaries often fail to challenge this caste system, and those who understand caste hesitate to critique capitalism. The two are deeply connected, and until we address them together, the dream of a truly equal India will remain distant. The struggle to annihilate caste is not just about policy or law. It's about changing heart and minds. It's about realizing that the fight against caste is also a fight against poverty, against ignorance, against injustice. Let us not honor Ambedkar not by merely garlanding his statues, but by living his vision, working every day to dismantle the structures that keep us divided like caste. India's greatness will not come from its past, but from its ability to imagine a future where every individual is free, equal, and respected. That is the India Baba Saheb dreamed of. And it is up to us to make that dream a reality. Thank you. Thank you so much.